Ladies and gentlemen, as a champion of our city and culture, the city of Houston has been committed
Test 1, 2, 3.
such as the National River Soccer League in our area. At this time,
Test.
begin to center pitch and welcome
Matt,
the
speak.
Houston and Dash season.
Washington Spirit, last place in 2013. Went to the playoffs in 2014. Dash will try to do the same this year.
See, very level, Mike. He's very level. Yeah, you're not going to scream?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Parker, for joining us for this very special occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, the Houston Dash and Houston Dynamo teams are committed to building a better Houston through Dynamo Charities presented by the Halliburton Charitable Foundation. This year, led by Dash Managing Director Brian Ching, Brian and the club were able to make yet another family's dream come true. True by providing
Good evening from Houston, Texas. The 2015 NWSL season starts tonight. It's the Houston Dash and the Washington Spirit live from BBVA Compass Stadium. Good evening. With Jen Cooper, I'm Matt Peterson. Welcome to the Bayou City. It's the Houston Dynamo opening up their second season against the Washington Spirits.
And what a difference an offseason makes, Matt, with so many changes, not only for the Houston Dash, but also for the Washington Spirit. Some big trades, some international acquisitions, even draft day trades. It's going to be very exciting to watch the game tonight.
Of course, a World Cup year, Jen, in 2015. Let's see some of the off-season acquisitions for Houston.
We got Morgan Bryant, of course, the #1 draft pick. You know, how could you not take that pick? Stephanie Roach from Ireland, the Puskas Award nominated goal scorer, came out of nowhere to be a big name. And, of course, the biggest trade in the offseason for Carly Lloyd, sending 2 players and a pick to the Flash. And, of course, we've got amateur call-ups for this game with international players out for international duty and in the future in the World Cup. Teams are allowed to call up amateurs, so we've got just up the road, A&M's Allie Bailey, local girl Megan Kinneman playing #2 to Bianca Henninger, and Cami Privet, who was just a star in the open tryouts and may even play her way into a contract.
It's a unique part of the 2015 season, amateurs getting their opportunity in this World Cup year.
It's going to be such an exciting year to watch, not only with the Women's World Cup this summer, but also how these teams deal with those international absences. Right now, where we don't have the Canadian players, and also in the future where we're not going to have the U.S. players as well as the Canadians. So speaking of Canada, they played France yesterday to a very tight 1-0 game, losing 1-0 in Bondoufle, France. Erin McLeod getting the starting goal. Lauren Sesselman also getting to start, as well as our newest Canadian, Alicia Chapman. So exciting to see Lauren Sesselman get back on the field because she's been out for almost a year. We still have not seen her on the field with a Dash jersey. But McLeod, Alicia Chapman, Lauren Sesselman, all very much part of Canada's plans for this summer.
A long residency for Canada. They'll stay in camp through the end of the World Cup.
And then on the U.S. side, we do have the U.S. players back after the friendly versus New Zealand last weekend. 2 of our 3 allocated players getting goals against New Zealand. This great Galasso from Klingenberg, her second international goal.
She said afterward, Jen, maybe she'll have a beer, enjoy it for a moment.
she's just finding so much more confidence on the ball. And then our number 1 draft pick and the youngest player on the U.S. national team roster, Morgan Bryan, getting the 4th goal for the U.S., the only non-defender to score in that match.
I love it. Her celebration, you would have thought she just won a trophy. It's a 4-0 friendly win, but it meant so much to her.
And here's someone who's won a lot of trophies. Morgan Bryan, Carly Lloyd, Megan Klingenberg are 3 U.S. national teamers. This will be their only home game, unfortunately, before the Women's World Cup. We'll have them for the next 2 away games. Then they rejoin the U.S. for 3 friendlies before the big show kicks off in June in Canada.
A beautiful look at BBVA Compass Stadium tonight. A lot of rain here in the Bayou City, but it has cleared. A good crowd expected for the 2015 NWSL opener.
As a BBVA Compass customer, you have the chance to show your true colors every time you open your wallet.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Presenting Dynamo Banking, featuring debit and credit card options that can help you reach your goals. Open your account today at any of our 80 locations in Houston or online at bbvacompass.com/dynamo. Team works in soccer and in banking.
BHP Billiton is a leading global resources company with mining and oil and gas interests worldwide. Our reputation is built on proven performance, helping provide the energy that keeps the world moving, cities growing, communities thriving. And we combine this innovative spirit with a commitment to sustainability, developing natural resources with responsibility and integrity, today and for years to come. BHP Billiton, resourcing the future.
Who's done just about anything else. Give it away, Brad Davis, and we are level.
He's taking the world by storm. Grammy-nominated Ed Sheeran, live in concert. BBVA Compass Stadium, September 3rd, with special guest Christina Perri. Tickets on sale now at bbvacompassstadium.com, axs.com, or by phone. The #1 selling album, Multiply, is in stores and online now. There's more at edsheeran.com. Produced by AEG Live and the Messina Group.
Learn soccer the Dynamo way and start your path to the pros. The Houston Dynamo offer youth programs for every age and skill level, from a challenging introduction to soccer to intensive competition training and opportunities to play for the Dynamo Academy.
This is Ricardo Clark of the Houston Dynamo. The Dynamo youth programs offer the professional environment required to develop your game and prepare you for success.
To find out more or to register for Dynamo youth programs, visit HoustonDynamo.com.
Welcome back to BBVA Compass Stadium with Jen Cooper. I'm Matt Peterson. It's the Houston Dynamo and Washington Spirit. Jen, last year Washington went worst place to the playoffs. The Dash will try to do the same here in 2015.
Yeah, I feel like the Dash in some ways is Washington Spirit Part 2, that they had some of the similar struggles, and now they are turning it around, making some huge changes in the offseason.
As the teams come out, followed by Dynamo Diesel. Second-year head coach Randy Waldron after a great run at Notre Dame. And for the Washington Spirit, in his third season, his second full year, Mark Parsons.
Waldron talked about it several times in the offseason, how he feels like he and Brian Ching underestimated just how tough the league was physically last year. And so I think in the offseason he focused on bringing in stronger, taller players and also a little bit more maturity that, in a sense they were really just throwing the rookies to the wolves last year, and they did such an admirable job. And, he says, I will never forget all of those players that helped us in that first year.
Yeah, a much more experienced starting lineup tonight. We'll get to the lineups in a bit, but the only real rookie in the lineup for the Dash is Morgan Bryan. She already has 26 appearances for the U.S. Women's National Team.
Hard to refer to Morgan Bryan as a rookie when you've got 2 Mac Herman trophies to your name and that many caps and international goals.
Teams exchanging pleasantries. Many of these know one another from national team camps and from college and youth teams. And of course, a celebrity in town tonight coming back to her hometown for the coin toss.
And she towers above the competition, especially tonight. Brittany Griner from the WNBA. She's going to make all of our players, even the tallest ones, look pretty short. But so great to have a hometown hero come back.
A national championship at Baylor, a WNBA championship with the Phoenix Mercury last year, and a WNBA Defensive Player of the Year to boot. There you see the Dash in the home orange kits. I'm sure a bright moment for Bianca Henninger, the starting goalkeeper from day one with McLeod in Canada.
Right, she got 5 games last year when McLeod was away for international duty, but I know she's been working so hard in the offseason, and I think she is the next generation for goalkeeping for the U.S., and this is really her chance to show Jill Ellis and the other coaches that that's true.
Randy Waldron left a great job in South Bend, Indiana. Consistent perennial College Cup team in Notre Dame. Came down to Houston, a big project on his hands, and nearly took Trinidad and Tobago to the World Cup. There's Brittany Griner. Was out at Dash practice a couple days ago, Jen.
She took some penalty kicks and tried to stop some penalty kicks as well. I know the team had a lot of fun with her.
Houston native, and then dominated the college scene up the road in Waco at Baylor. The captain tonight, Ella Macer for Houston Dash and Allie Krieger for the Washington Spirits.
Just seems natural that Ella Macer should be captain in Aaron McLeod's absence, given that Ella is the heart and soul of this team, scoring the first goal in team history, first home goal in team history with, of course, the Chastain-like goal celebration. So players to watch for the game, we've got Ashlyn Harris, the goalkeeper for Washington Spirit. She stood in for Hope Solo in the 2 internationals the U.S. played in February. Had some great saves against France. She's now got 6 international caps to her name. It's pretty clear she's the number 2 keeper for the U.S. going into the Women's World Cup, and she has been the backbone for the Washington Spirit.
Yeah, battled some injuries in college, Jen, but still won 3 national championships and a big part of this Spirit team.
And then on the dash side, of course, how could we not feature Carly Lloyd, the biggest offseason acquisition, one of the biggest trades in NWSL history, sending Becky Edwards, Whitney Engen, and a draft pick for Carly Lloyd. She was a leading scorer for the U.S. in 2014, tied for most appearances on the team, MVP for the CONCACAF Women's Championship. And here you see her scoring a great goal against Norway in the Algarve Cup last month. Actually 2 against Norway to help the U.S. come from behind to win 2-1.
Jen may be overshadowed in past years by some other names in that squad, but I feel like this is her moment going back to last year and entering the World Cup this year.
She's one of those players who just gets better with age. She's more fit, she's smarter, she's more mature, and she has really worked herself into a prime leadership role with the team. She even talked about last fall that that's what Jill Ellis expected of her, was to take it to the next level, and she has.
Here's the starting lineup. We saw Harris, a young back line, Jen, with Oyster and Church, both out of UCLA, the professional debuts tonight.
It's going to be really interesting to watch defense for both teams, because we also have a somewhat unexperienced defense in Houston. You're actually putting Ella Masser at the right back. She's never played back before in a professional game, and moving Stephanie Oakes into the middle. The ongoing problem this team has had is who plays center back.
And 3 to watch up front with Ojai, McDonald's, and Henderson. Now is set for kickoff with Jen Cooper. I'm Matt Peterson. A nice night here in the Bayou City. Rain throughout the day. It is cleared for the 2015 NWSL opener. The Spirit in their white kits, the Dash in their orange kits. We are underway. The opener in the 2015 season. Full stage tonight for the Dash and the Spirits. The Spirit building across the back. Oyster with Krieger. Very versatile defender. Krieger can play outside back or center back. And now it's Whitney Church. Morgan Bryan, her first touches with the Dash. Right to Lloyd. Many call Morgan Bryan the future Carly Lloyd. Big expectations for the 21-year-olds. Now a big switch from Lloyd, settled here by Kalia Ojai, the number 2 overall pick last year. Randy Waldrum said this week the light went off for Ojai middle of the season last year in a rookie campaign.
Once she got settled and adjusted to the longer season, the physicality, and also got over some minor injuries, you could see the difference.
There's Ojai in the corner, goes down, and a free kick to the Dash.
And I think it's interesting to point out that she was the number 2 pick in the draft last year, even though Houston is an expansion team, would have gotten the first pick. They had already agreed that Spirit would get it. So Spirit took Crystal Dunn, who's on the bench tonight. Dash took Ojai at number 2. But I think they both got what they wanted.
First decision from our referee tonight, Katia Koroleva. And basically a short corner, Morgan Bryan came into town on Tuesday, got a couple of trainings in with the Dash. Scored a great goal on Saturday against New Zealand, her 4th international goal, all coming before her professional debut. Early chance for the Dash. Bryan with the service towards the back post, chested down Lloyd. Lloyd still in possession, top of the box. Spirit unable to clear. And Dash maintain possession with Megan Klingenberg. Now it's Bryan once again. Good balance towards the end line. Service towards the near post, and the Dash get their 2nd straight corner. That was Jessica McDonald putting the pressure on at the near post.
And we haven't had a chance yet to talk about Jessica McDonald, one of those other offseason acquisitions, part of a 3-way trade on draft day, and we'll talk more about that after this corner. Stephanie Oakes, of course, coming up to take the corner. She's taken a lot of them for the Dash.
Crowd coming to life here at BBVA. The service from Oakes into the mix. And good clearing header from the Spirit. Falls to Klingenberg, and her shot no problem for the goalkeeper, Ashlyn Harris. Similar spot as Saturday to Klingenberg's great goal against New Zealand.
She's definitely learned how to take advantage of that second ball.
Back all the way, Bianca Henninger. Cleared out towards midfield, and passer back to Henninger. Just underway, 4th minute. A 2015 season opener, a long off season for the Dash. So many moves made by Randy Waldrum and Brian Ching, the managing director. Spirit in possession, and a free kick to Washington, a dangerous spot about 25 yards from goal on the far side.
And this is the second year that the Dash have played on the opening day of the season. Last year there were 2 games at the same time. This one is the kickoff for season 3.
Viernes Day football, if you will, as they call it in MLS. Set piece, Christine Nairn is one of the options for Washington. Here's Nairn towards the near post. Dangerous chance here for Washington, and Klingenberg concedes the corner kick. Henninger came but couldn't clear it, and Klingenberg right on the spot at the edge of the 6-yard box.
Henninger can't quite get to it. Thankfully, Kling gets a left foot out, gets it out for another corner.
This one towards the near post. Clearing header. Spirit maintained possession here in the 5th minute.
We talked about defense a little bit in the pregame, but it's interesting to note that Washington Spirit was the only playoff team that had a negative goal differential in the regular season, kind of sneaking into the playoffs thanks to a tiebreaker with Chicago.
Klingenberg scrapping on the far side. Left there inside the box by DaCosta. And here come the Dash on this near side. Jessica McDonald. And a throw in here to the Dash. Catch Dash Soccer in HD all season long on Root Sports Southwest, the home of the Dash Soccer and Dynamo Soccer. 6th minute. Klingenberg with the throw-in to Lloyd. Well read by Tori Huster. Now here comes Axon on this near side with Kalia Ohai. Ohai has a step. Ohai to the edge. Great recovery that time by Ali Krieger. Good savvy that time, Jen. Looked like Ohai had the pace and the step, but positional awareness from Ali Krieger. Brian with Klingenberg.
It was great in preseason to see how Ohai and Henderson and Stephanie Roach were starting to work together to be a very fluid 3-front, do some overlapping runs.
Klingenberg down behind the play, still line on her left side. The teams will play on, and now Spirit realize what's happening. But good news, Klingenberg back to her feet. Like she was sort of hurting with that right leg.
Just took a knock, and you always want the player to play it safe, you know, and as long as they're not doing that flopping around, oh, I've been shot kind of thing, you know. You want them to go down and take their time and not rush back.
Of course, a big one tonight. 2 more games to go, but for so many other reasons, this is preparation for the World Cup. Last thing anyone wants is an injury for any of the national team players or prospective players, so you want to give it your all for 3 nights, 90 minutes, but at the same time, be extra careful.
And we don't even want to talk about some of the injuries that the Dash had to deal with early in the season last year. I don't want to jinx anything, so we're not gonna talk about those specifically. But I think the season in general this year, since they're taking time off for the World Cup and playing a slightly shorter season, I think is just better for all players involved, that with travel and recovery, there's actually, you know, a more appropriate length of time.
That's the head athletic trainer, Christy Chavez, walking off with Klingenberg. Yeah, less midweek games, Jen. almost entirely weekend games, which is great for the fans. Put back into play by Axon. Looks like Klingenberg will rejoin here shortly as the dash played all the way back to Ashlyn Harris. Harris, a Florida native. One of many NWSL who came from North Carolina. As the Spirit try to build at the back. Jen, we talked with Randy Waldrum yesterday, and he said the biggest challenge the Spirit might present is this type of build-up, slow and patient out of the back with their back four.
And just like Washington is seeking to solve defensive problems, you know, we've got the perennial who can play center back for the dash issue. And so it's interesting to see Stephanie Oakes moved over from left back into center. She's already someone who had been converted from forward last year to left back. And of course, acquiring Nikki Cross in the offseason from the Spirit, you know, just some maturity, some experience, and also some height.
Henninger taking her time. Los Gatos native. Stayed home, went to Santa Clara University after a good career at Archbishop Mitty High School in the Bay Area. At midfield, here come the Spirit. Scoreless through 9 minutes. Amanda DaCosta. Well-weighted ball, but well read at the back by Nikki Cross. Nairn for Huster. Huster got her first look at a senior national team camp in February. Didn't play, but a good experience, I'm sure.
Speaks really well about her performance with the Spirit the last couple of seasons. And, you know, knowing that their national teamers will be away in just a few weeks, I know Mark Parsons is counting on her to really step it up and be the leader on this team.
You see Klingenberg looking for McDonald there. McDonald been in Germany on loan, so a lot of these girls playing together, at least in recent memory for the first time. Not everything on the same page. Klingenberg caught a plane to Houston on Wednesday morning. A long day for her where she threw out the first pitch at the Astros game with Brian and Lloyd.
And they got their names on Astros jerseys. Those could be like special edition U.S. Women's National Team jerseys.
At some point, hopefully. Brian lost it. Referee in a bad spot for the Spirit. Good play initially by Joanna Lohman. Now it's Lloyd. Good first touch and turn. Good ball through the middle for Bryan, but good defending in the end. That was Henderson cutting in from the right to find Morgan Bryan. We'll see how they deal with this tactically, Jen. Randy was honest yesterday. He said he'll let them play out of the back, sort of sit deep, let them have the ball. And then once it gets wide, he wants his Houston Dash team to press out wide and force the turnovers on the flanks.
Interesting to see how, you know, a 4-4-2 and a 4-3-3 kind of mesh and who gets the advantage with, as those come together.
One of the big questions in this offseason for Washington, who will score the goals? Matheson out with an ACL injury. Jody Taylor traded to Portland, but some new faces up front. Laura Del Rio, not new face to many women's soccer fans. She's been here in the U.S. a few times, but 32-year-old from Spain. She is the leading line runner for the Spirit. And then the young Argentine, Estefania Bonini, sort of an unknown player, but a lot of skill on the ball for sure.
And we're hearing she's called the...
Here's a dangerous chance. First opportunity. Henninger read it well. Loose ball, top of the box. Masser deals with it. Still alive for the Spirits. And it's pulled high and wide. Estefania Bonini, she had the last chance for Washington there. The first ball really well rated behind the dash line. And Henninger calls into action here in the 13th minutes.
First really dangerous ball, caught us off guard. Did not catch Bianca off guard.
A good slide at the top of the box. A nervous moment for sure. But Washington coming close. Best chance they've had here early on.
And I was just about to say she's been given the title the female Messi or the Marta of Argentina.
Poor clearance by Oakes. Fell to Christine Nairn, and she pulls it wide. Nairn, a fixture from the U16s to the U23s with the U.S. 2 caps with the full senior team. Second last year on Washington in goals with 6 behind Matheson. Henninger out towards midfield. Falls to Bryan. You see the good first touch. Out wide here to Klingenberg. Nice hold-up play from Ojai. She spins out of it. Ojai top of the box. Lost it in the end, but a promising run. That was Tori Huster at the back who made the play for Washington, but Ojai, it's good to see from her. And there's a shot pulled wide. Laura Del Rio, maybe a shot, maybe a cross, but Henninger watched it wide. But I think, Jen, going back to the last play is smart. Moment, I'm sure Kaylee Ojai in high school and a lot of college didn't have to do much hold-up play, ran behind defenders, but here at the pro level, she's gonna have to do what she just did. Settle it, turn, and try to make a play.
Exactly. And you had mentioned Laura Del Rio. It's not her first time in the States. She did play 2 seasons with WPS, mostly in Philadelphia, and with the Spanish national team, 40 goals in 39 games. But get this, she is not going to the Women's World Cup.
Whitney Church, her pro debut tonight. She starts at right back. Great career at Penn State. One of 5 Penn State alumni on this Washington Spirit roster.
Yeah, we don't know what Erica Walsh is doing up there, but she's producing a lot of great soccer players. And if only Erin McLeod were here, that'd be another Penn State alum.
Lloyd, back for Axon. Nikki Cross with Morgan Bryan. Calm possession here from Houston. Henderson. And here they come out of the back. Good touch, McDonald. Will it stay in for Klingenberg? It does. Can she run it down? And it stays in. Friendly roll for Klingenberg. Has the head up. Defended by DaCosta. And it's out for a goal kick. But I thought maybe the best build-up from back to front so far for the Houston Dash.
And great effort by Megan Klingenberg to take a chance on that ball and keep it in, and it stayed in. That's how you can make a goal sometimes out of nothing.
Played quickly out of the back by Ashlyn Harris. Here come the Spirit. 16th minute on a gorgeous night in Houston, Texas. The flag will stay down. Del Rio did not stay involved in the play as Masser clears towards midfield. Now McDonald's has her head up, targeting Ojai. What a ball from McDonald, but just too far in front of Ojai. Kept alive. Henderson into the area, towards the spot. Huster to clear, and Henderson regains control. Good service towards McDonald's. Big decision here, and it's going to go against the Dash. A free kick to Washington as the trainer is called onto the field.
So Jessica McDonald went down along with, can't see the number. Here's the replay. Wow, Jessica going up with 2 players, knocking heads. 2 of the 3 get up, but we've still got, I can't even see.
Yeah, it looks like Allie Krieger down.
Another scare for us all, another U.S. national teamer.
Get social with the Houston Dash. Like us, follow us, and watch us on all of your favorite social media outlets to get extended coverage of your Houston Dash. Log on to houston-soccer.com/social media for your social media dashboard. #DashOn.
My guess is with the signal that the trainer made is that it could be a concussion, and that you would want to be obviously very, very cautious about that. It looked like Ashlyn Harris was calling pretty quickly too for help. Normally, I would say it's nice for these players to have a break because it's usually so hot, but we've been pretty lucky to have pleasant temperatures here today. What do you see from that, Matt?
It's difficult to see. Definitely some contacts. McDonald's definitely good size, but we saw it last week, the Houston Dynamo taking on Seattle. Raul Rodriguez, just a glancing elbow from his teammate Tyler Derrick right above the eye. A concussion for Rodriguez. And a big laceration over an inch long. But definitely not a very good sight here. Medical staff on the fields. The stretcher. And Harris helping out. Allie Krieger from the D.C. area, from Woodbridge.
This is her third season with Washington Spirit, and she was also briefly part of the Washington Freedom in WPS. She was allocated to them on loan from Frankfurt FFC. She spent, I think, at least 4 years in Germany, so she was like the tour guide for the team when they were there for the 2011 Women's World Cup, but she's completely fluent in German, and she's had such an impact on this team, but also the U.S. national team. I mean, she started and played every minute in defense for the U.S. in the 2011 Women's World Cup. Only missed the 2012 Olympics due to a knee injury suffered, ironically, on the turf in Vancouver, which will host the Women's World Cup final this summer.
The last thing you want to see in any sport. Now straps being applied to help get Allie Krieger onto the stretcher.
It's got to be very unsettling for the teammates and the opponents. And of course, the coach, it's like he's not going to, he's not over there with the trainers. He doesn't know what's happening. It's just it's a big question mark. But you can see Tori Huster kind of bringing the girls in together and starting to talk.
Krieger has dealt with her injuries before. You mentioned 2012, a torn ACL and MCL. January before the Olympics, had to miss out on London. And now Ashlyn Harris jogging over to her team.
And Ashlyn went through 2 separate ACL surgeries and still came back. Such an impressive career. She was the starting keeper for the U19 U.S. team that won the inaugural youth championship.
Good news, you can see her moving her toes down there. Earlier, her moving her legs. So clearly...
Is this just being cautious?
Mobility in the lower extremities.
But what I want to point out about Ashlyn coming back from multiple injuries and then 11 years after winning the youth world title with the U.S., finally getting her first cap with the U.S. national team. And now she's clearly the number 2 for this summer in Canada.
A regular for the U.S. Allie Krieger this year, 6 of 7 games this year, including 5 starts. So a mainstay for Jill Ellis this year. And you hope, based off the scene on the field, this is all precautionary and just taking every extra measure to get her to the medical facilities in the safest way possible.
And it looks like number 24, Estelle Johnson, will be coming in for Allie Krieger for the Washington Spirit. She played for the Western New York Flash in the 2013 NWSL season, but did not play in 2014. The Spirit acquired her rights in a trade in the offseason, sending Tony Presley up to the Flash. So it's interesting to see a player take a year off and come back and find the form to play pro.
Ashlyn Harris, some final words for Allie Krieger.
And Krieger was tonight's captain for the Spirit, so I'm assuming that armband is being passed, at least,
And a good wave to the crowd
figuratively
from
to
Ali
to
Krieger, a
Ashlyn
great
Harris.
sign. And
Very great sign.
I was about to say, Jen, I think the conversation between Harris and Krieger looked relatively calm. I think if it was something that looked bad, Harris might walk away, maybe look more distraught, but it seemed
Right.
as positive as a conversation as you could see in these circumstances.
Yeah, and Allie wouldn't put her hand up and clap if, if something was serious.
So a tough player, Ali Krieger, 30-year-olds from Woodbridge, Virginia, a star at Penn State.
Nice to see her fellow U.S. defender, Megan Klingenberg, checking on her, too.
And she'll
So
hope
that's
to be a part of the group in Canada come June.
So we'll have a whole lot of stoppage time at the end of this half.
Krieger on the pavement now. Be taken to the visiting locker rooms where there's full medical facilities, and now back to the game.
And Estelle Johnson has taken her place in the center of the defense.
Krieger, a best 11 selection last year in the NWSL. And now back in play here in the 25th minute. A standing ovation of sorts on the Walker end as Krieger goes into the tunnel. The fans acknowledging her as she goes past the tunnel to the far side. Meanwhile, Lloyd surging forward, wide left. Here's Kalia Ohai. 1 versus 1 against Whitney Church. Ohai towards the end line, on her left. Trying to find Henderson at the back post, but just couldn't hook it enough, and it's a goal kick to the Spirits. Johnson, the substitute from Colorado, played at Kansas University. Did not play last year in the NWSL. Signed in February after a trade with Western New York. And now a free kick to Washington, right at midfield. Lohman trying to pick out Bonini on that far side. A lot of touches for Bryan early on. Back to Nikki Cross. Here comes McDonald's. And a throw into Washington.
McDonald was Portland's leading scorer last year with 11 goals, and one of those came against Houston in the second game that Houston played against Portland, and she assisted on the first ever goal scored against Houston. So we're hoping that she'll turn it around and do it for the Orange now.
Yeah, certainly an audition in front of Randy Waldrum, Brian Ching and company, as the Dash played Portland 3 times last season. Throwing Washington on the far side. But McDonald already, I think, bringing a new dimension to the Dash with her size and her speed, the way she's run at the back line of Washington and her presence in the box. Watched out there by Nikki Cross, a goal kick to Houston. Nothing gets past the keeper, and that's why you should listen to the Keeper Note Soccer Show every Sunday morning at 10 on Yahoo Sports Radio 1560. For more info, check out keepernotes.com. Of course, Jen Cooper here in the booth, the host of the show. Always enjoyable on a Sunday morning, Jen.
We need to have you on the show. It's been a while.
It has. Always fun coming on. Sunday morning, 10 to 11.
Perfect as you're waking up or maybe driving out to your soccer game.
Always fun after a good Dynamo or Dash win or a big national team game as Klingenberg inside with Lloyd. Well read on that near side by DaCosta. Dash win it back. Henderson scrapping in the middle. Huster comes away with it. Back all the way to Henninger. Henninger, a veteran from the U16s up to the 23s, played with Randy Waldrum on that U23 team as McDonald lost it with a heavy touch. Re-won by Lloyd. Ohai, top of the box. Good settle once again, onto her right. Ohai, what a great ball. Morgan Bryan Good save at the near post, Ashlyn Harris. Well, that was how Randy Waldron would like to draw it up. 3 of his stars. It was Lloyd for Ojai. What a well-weighted ball against the grain right in the path of Morgan Bryan.
And we were not seeing movements like that last season. Just the maturity of Ojai and holding that ball and seeing the opportunity with Bryan is so different from what we saw from the dash last year.
Would have been a dream start for Morgan Bryan. Now it's Oaks. Good ball to the back post. It falls right in front of Cross, and then a collision at the back post as it goes out for a goal kick. Cross nearby, but it bounced inside the 6 as Ashlyn Harris was a bit hesitant. But I think a very bright start, Jen. First 29 minutes, we've seen Ojai 2 good moments of hold-up play and just a sensational pass in the path of Bryan, who could have had a goal inside her first half hour in her dash debut.
Well, and Ojai worked really hard in the offseason. She actually declined to go to the U23 camp. She wanted to focus on the dash and focus on getting completely fit, completely healthy. She had some very minor injuries. And she's had an impact on, she was part of every goal in preseason. So I'd be really surprised if we don't see that pay off tonight.
Megan Oyster, Naperville, Illinois, UCLA product, part of that great back line last year. It conceded just 6 goals. Nairn, try to 1-2 through the middle. Here comes Lloyd. Great skill to keep her balance and push it wide to Bryan. Jessica McDonald, wide left Klingenberg. Dash have not hesitated getting forward. Quick to get to the attacking third. Here's Ojai once more. Back to goal. Good turn. Ojai in space. And her shot blocked in the end. That was Estelle Johnson who came off the bench for Ali Krieger. The last one to stop Kaylee Ojai. Now it's Carly Lloyd. Cross deflected, falls to Klingenberg, and it's just over the bar. So not as much power as on Saturday against New Zealand, but Klingenberg trying to get a little bit cheeky.
As she said, she's learned how to go for those second balls, and you could see she saw an opportunity there, not to necessarily drive a ball, but to maybe chip it over Harris if Harris was a step out of position.
With Jen Cooper, I'm Matt Peterson, 31st minute. It's the 2015 NWSL opener. Washington Spirit in white, the Houston Dash in orange. Spirit, last place to the playoffs last year. A Dash finished in last place in their inaugural season. They're trying to get to the playoffs this season. That was from day one, the preseason press conference. Randy Waldron, Brian Ching in agreement, playoffs are the minimum goal. Bryan settled it, then draws a foul.
And in a league like this, the talent is so concentrated, but concentrated among all teams, and there's only 9 teams, so the number 1 team could play the number 9 team, and you don't know who's going to win. Every game is so close. You know, Randy was talking the other day at Media Day how there were really only about 3 games last year where the Dash were never in it. And for an expansion club, that says a lot.
Here's Lloyd, great skill. Into Ojai, and she just couldn't get enough on it. Maybe a bit flat-footed with her right instep from about 8 yards, but you saw Lloyd ride out the challenge at the end line and then tee it up for Ojai. Those two, good combination play here in the first 32 minutes. We know Carly Lloyd, so much skill on the ball, but sometimes it's just strength. That was a sort of a hip challenge on the edge of the 18-yard box. No problem for her. Kept her head up and then right to the feet of Ojai. I think her feet sort of got caught underneath and just not enough power on it.
And I would add that she's probably not used to having balls delivered so deliciously right to her feet like that. That's the challenge of having these national teamers just come in for a few days, that the team hasn't really gotten a chance to get to know each other. Now, thankfully, we have Morgan Bryan and Carly Lloyd have been playing together in the middle for a while, so at least they've got a natural chemistry there.
Good win here by Laura Del Rio, the 32-year-old from Madrid. Good slide from Klingenberg, forces a throw in to the Spirit. Taking quickly, Amanda DaCosta from Katona, New York, played at Florida State. A couple seasons with Liverpool, won a couple titles over in England. And now joining the Spirits.
I was talking with Laura Del Rio this morning, and she's talking about just how much she really likes playing in the U.S., not only the quality of the football, but, of course, being in the U.S.
Ella Masser with the throw-in. Really embraced the move from forward back to the back line. Good ball out of the back. That time by Oyster. Shot from distance, no problem. Bianca Henninger. Now, Randy told us yesterday, Jan, he expects with Masser, he's not worried about one-on-one defending. That will be fine. He said there will be some speed bumps along the way, some moments where maybe a goal happens because of her not being used to the position. But he expects her to be tenacious, and he expects wingers to maybe switch sides throughout the game because they'll just get sick of dealing with their physicality.
Well, it gives him so much more flexibility in the lineup, and for Ella personally, this could be an extension of her career. And she came into camp this year fitter, leaner than she's been before for the dash, and I think you can see the difference.
Good help a moment ago from Morgan Bryan, tracked back to win a dash throw, and now she's spinning away. Tries to clip it over the top to Ojai. Header won by Huster. Now it's Bryan over the top. Here's McDonald. The flag is down. McDonald 1 against 3. And her touch just got away from her. But the dash finding the weaknesses in the Spirit back line, finding the openings. That time it was just a perfectly weighted ball from Morgan Bryan.
She timed that run. Jessica McDonald timed that run perfectly. Just with the defender's weight, the ball's kicked, then she springs, and she had a good couple of steps on those defenders.
A draft day trade by the Dash to get McDonald's from Portland after an 11-goal season a year ago. Cross at the back will concede the throw-in.
And a very interesting three-way trade. So Spirit sending Jody Taylor to Portland, Portland sending Jessica McDonald to the Dash, Dash sending a draft pick to the Spirit, and they picked Megan Oyster from UCLA.
UCLA with 6 draft picks in the 2015 draft, 3 of the top 4.
Setting a record.
Oyster gets the start on opening day. Her teammate from UCLA on the bench. Caprice Didasco is another Spirit player down. It's Christine Nairn back on her feet. Another Maryland, Virginia product. She's from Annapolis, went to Penn State.
She's had some time with the U.S. national team.
And a loan to Melbourne victory last offseason. Masser with the throw, and wearing the captain's armband tonight. Erin McLeod, the captain last season with Canada in residency ahead of Canada hosting the 2015 Women's World Cup. Game looking for its first goal. Some speculated maybe a higher scoring affair tonight with both teams' defensive line unsettled. Here's Lohman through the middle. Good touch that time by Huster. Klingenberg backs off a bit. No problem for Henninger off the cross from Whitney Church. Here come the Dash out of the back. Opening nights. And for the second straight year, the Dash open at home.
And Dash fans had to be really patient last year waiting for that first goal at home. It was the 4th game, and I think it was the 5th or 6th game before there was a win at home. But it's a much different story this season.
Waldrum and Ching did not wait around, making the Carly Lloyd trade. Had to give up Engen and Becky Edwards, 2 very popular players, but you have to give if you want to receive, and they didn't blink. I think for Ching, who's relatively new to the women's game in terms of scouting and player acquisition.
You can say new. You don't have to say relatively.
I think Lloyd was a player that for him just stood out. Watching national team games, and when she became available, too good to pass up.
Yeah, I remember watching the Mexico friendlies with Brian Ching last September and listening to him talk about which players impressed him and what he would do to get them really showed me how much he had embraced women's soccer, because less than a year before, right after he was named managing director, he and I were talking about players, and I dropped names and he wouldn't necessarily know who I was talking about. So props to Brian for just embracing this and doing serious scouting.
Here comes the Spirit. They haven't been able to find what they would call their patented possession as they turn it over there. But I think a good sign for the Dash is the Spirit, outside of some early moments, haven't been able to maintain possession of the ball at their type of pace and tempo, which was what Waldrum told us would be the biggest challenge tonight for the Dash. Ojai settling against Kat Reynolds in the corner. Ojai, good speed at the end line. Ojai trying to find Henderson, and the Spirit able to clear. Good defending at the back. Estelle Johnson, the first half substitute, a very scary moment. Our thoughts continue to be with Allie Krieger, who went down in a challenge in the box, taken off by a stretcher. Krieger just a few months away from more than likely being part of the World Cup team. Hope that she's okay, and hope all those positive signs towards the crowd were due to her optimistic outlook on the injury. Given away by the Spirit once more. Ojai, wide left. Here comes McDonald. Targeting Lloyd, but cleaned up by Tori Huster. Huster from Cincinnati, played at Florida State. An off-season loan to Newcastle Jets. A couple teammates joined her there. Kat Reynolds and Angela Salem.
And speaking of the Australia Women's League, we have to point out Stephanie Oakes scored the first goal in the championship final against Perth Glory. She was playing for Canberra. They won 3-1 in December. Great offseason to have. And she was playing her normal forward position. Here she's back in defense, learning a new defensive position, moving over from left to center.
That time Oakes tried to target McDonald. Christine Nairn now for the Spirits. Scoreless through 40 minutes. Dash trying to get a win at home before they go on the road for 2. Lloyd, head up against Huster. Lloyd, good ball in front of McDonald. McDonald against the substitute, Estelle Johnson. Good cut back towards the middle and just too far in front of Lloyd and Bryan. But Bryan runs it down. Cross, settled to McDonald. Lloyd inside the D, and it's pulled high and wide. The energy from this Dash front group, he seemed to be running down all the second balls, even when the pass is off in the final third, picking up the loose pieces. Harris plays it out of the back. Again, Randy Waldrum told us the Dash might drop off a bit, concede that first line of possession. So Harris has been able to play it from her goal box on many of the goal kicks. We'll see if the Dash continue to try to force the issue on the sidelines near the flanks. Joanna Lohman, now 32. Waived by Boston last September, signed via the waiver wire by Washington in October. Good build-up here from the Spirit, but a good interception there from Morgan Bryan. She calms it down. Back to Rachel Axon. And a switching ball here to Klingenberg. Klingenberg against Lohman. Nikki Cross. Settled here, Ojai. Left it here. Henderson, Klingenberg, run at the back post, McDonald, and it's just past her. Well, we saw the thought there. Megan Klingenberg looking for McDonald at the back post, but just a touch heavy from Klingenberg as we take another look.
Great cross by Klingenberg. Timing just a little bit off. And you see the energy is there, the talent's there. These players just haven't had enough practice to connect and find that final touch.
Good pressure. Masser gets forward. All the way back to Harris. She'll throw it out. Acres of space on this near side for Whitney Church. Ashburn, Virginia native. 30th overall pick by Washington in this year's draft. A two-time Big Ten Defender of the Year. Helped Penn State to their first NCAA title game as a sophomore. Dash in possession. Been a quiet night for the back line for the Houston Dash. A sign of a few moments. As Masser goes across the back for Stephanie Oakes.
Go
ahead, Jen.
That's got to make Randy Waldrum feel good that his defense has had a time to settle in and not be pressured right away.
Now a bad giveaway from Oaks, but the dash bailed out Laura Del Rio offside. And the dash were really exposed there. Klingenberg had pushed forward. The central midfielders were forward.
Just as we were talking about it.
And then Oaks tried to get forward, but it was settled in midfield by Washington.
Oaks did such a great job last season transitioning from forward to left back and, you know, being someone who could handle that and also push up in the attack. But moving over to center, that's got to be a little unsettling because this wasn't a gentle transition. This was, your center. You know, the options for center back for Dash are still pretty lean.
Bianca Henninger won the Golden Gloves at the 2010 U20 World Cup, played in all 4 games there.
Yeah, the U.S. were eliminated by Nigeria in the quarterfinals on penalty kicks. Great to see that she got honored for her performance in that tournament. And, you know, interesting that Jill Ellis was the head coach for the squad at the time. You know, it'd be great to see Bianca get a look for the next cycle of the U.S. women's national team.
Referee in the way once again. Katia Koroleva. It was a forward ball and looked like Nairn was blocked by her. Now a good ball from Nairn. Good first touch. Here comes Henninger. And well read once again. Amanda DaCosta put that one in the path of Laura Del Rio. Good passing. One touch from the Washington Spirit here in the 45th minute. Henninger with the punts. Strong in the air is Megan Oyster, but it's settled by Morgan Bryan, who had a good chance near the half-hour mark for her first professional goal. Hard to believe, before her first pro game, 26 senior national team appearances. Almost seems impossible, but she forced the issue with U.S. soccer.
And that's in just 2 years. She got her first cap just a little over 2 years ago under Tom Sermani. He said her college coach at Virginia had recommended her. He brought her in. He said within a day, it was as if she was one of the veterans.
Now a chance for a throw-in. Another element that Jessica McDonald brings is the long throw. Here it comes towards the spot. Headed backwards by Huster, and the dash will get a corner kick here in first half stoppage time.
Now we are in stoppage time, but we had that long break due to the Krieger injury. So we could see, what would you think, 7, 8? Well, they just put it up.
7 minutes will
7
be added
minutes.
on. Again, Ali Krieger, a collision involving Jessica McDonald. Some of her own teammates taken off via stretcher, but positive signs towards the crowd. Service from Ojai towards the back post. It's past everybody and out for a goal kick.
And we do hope to have an update on Ali Krieger's injury if we can get one, for post-game. I know she's with the medical staff now, and of course they're not going to share anything unless they feel confident about what the diagnosis is.
Another good ball, and the flag comes up by Del Rio. But excellent skill that time. Estefania Bonini, the 24-year-old from Argentina, signed in January. Last 4 years with Colo-Colo in Chile. And some big praise from Mark Parsons, the head coach of Washington. He said, I don't think there's a player like her in the league, an exceptional talent. Sort of an unknown gem what the final product will be, but you see the skill there outside of the right foot on the ball. Here comes Ojai on the other end. Dealt with well by Ashlyn Harris, but an intriguing name here in the NWSL this year, Bonini.
Well, especially since she's playing, since she's from Argentina, she's not going to be participating in the Women's World Cup this summer. So Mark Parsons doesn't lose her on the squad. A fair amount of the internationals among all 9 teams are going to be away. So it's kind of a brilliant move on his part. Same for Laura Del Rio. You know, not going to be playing with Spain. Great talent.
Here comes Morgan Bryan. Well-weighted ball. Here's Jessica McDonald turning at the top. Head up. Back to Ojai, and good recovery by Tori Huster. Put back in play by Axon. Falls to Bryan. Recovers after a heavy touch. McDonald for Henninger. Or Klingenberg, I beg your pardon. And she was trying to pick out Lloyd, but it's too far and out for a goal kick.
And we haven't had a chance much to talk about Rachel Axon. She's another one of those kind of unknowns where NWSL fans might be asking, who? She played at UAB. She's English, and then she transferred to Oregon State. Randy Waldrum saw her in game tape that he received from a colleague in Norway. He saw her. It reminded him of a match that Notre Dame played against UAB in the round of 16 in the NCAA tournament years before, and he wanted to reach out to her. He reached out to her through LinkedIn. So I think LinkedIn needs to be a sponsor of the NWSL. And voila, she's here in Houston playing midfield.
Always nice to get those requests and messages. I have a hard time remembering my LinkedIn password. So it always takes a little bit just to get logged in to see what someone has to say. I'm sure it was worth Rachel Axon's effort. Nasser with the throw-in. Game looking for its first goal. We're in first half stoppage time. 7 minutes will be added after the serious injury to Ali Krieger. Going back to the injury, Jen, you hope it's just all precautionary with the straps and taking every measure to not do something more to the injury, getting her onto the stretcher and getting her to treatment. So that's my hope. I think for everyone watching, that's the hope with all the precautions taken.
Seeing the straps and seeing the neck brace and the board tells you that it's clearly a head or neck injury, but that they're being cautious. The fact that you saw movement, that she waved, that she clapped, that she was cognizant and talking to Ashlyn speaks to, okay, we're just being really conservative, especially given the last couple of years with much more attention paid to concussions and developing a concussion protocol. I would say that was more precaution than anything else.
Christine Nairn settling in front of Brian. Bonini back to Huster. Good switch here. Whitney Church. And the offside flag comes up once again, but they'll play on.
And I wonder in the second half if we'll see some subs. There's some subs for the Dash who could be starters, but for various reasons aren't. Ashley Nick, Carly Williams, their paperwork was late getting worked out, so they didn't really get to practice as starters this season, but they are players we could see in the second half.
Morgan Bryan, 25 from goal. Dash with 5 around the box in addition to Bryan. Here's Lloyd on her rights. Carly Lloyd, and it's in! Carly Lloyd in her debut! First half stoppage time, and the Dash have a lead here in the home opener.
Nothing that Ashlyn Harris could do about that. It looked like it was going over, hitting the post, but hit the post and went in and down, which is the way any goal scorer would like it.
You felt it coming for the Dash, and as soon as Lloyd created some space on that right foot, we've seen her score so many goals like that with the national team. Into the upper corner.
She's got such power, great placement, and like I said before, nothing Ashlyn Harris or any defender on the Spirit could do about that. And the smile on Carly Lloyd's face says it all, and I bet somewhere Brian Ching has a huge smile on his face as well.
And he's telling someone, I told you so. Get me Carly Lloyd, good things will happen. The Dash have a lead. It took 4 games to get a home goal last year. Well, this is year 2. And a 1-0 lead on the verge of halftime. Carly Lloyd.
She had 8 goals with the Flash last season. Their leading scorer.
And somewhat ironic, I would say, after so many good passing moments and crosses and good opportunities, that was just a moment of individual skill. A lot of numbers back, a lot of numbers around Lloyd. She made a play for herself, and as superstars do, she was the difference.
And we've seen that a lot from Carly Lloyd recently, like the Norway highlights we saw in the pregame. U.S. was down 1-0. It really looked like watching that game that she said, fine, I'll just put this game on my shoulders and do what has to be done.
And a moment before that, she lost it with a heavy touch, so maybe some frustrations. It's less by Bonini. Service here from Nairn. Into the box, flicked on, and wide. A goal kick. I think it was Joanna Lohman who rose amongst the tall players for that header.
And I'm sure Bianca Henninger is thinking about, let's finish the half, because they had some weak moments last year where they'd be leading and then give up a goal late. And I know one of those was against Bianca, and that was just her most frustrating part, having 89 minutes of great play, and then that 1 minute that changes everything. And there's the whistle.
There's the whistle. Carly Lloyd, moments after giving the ball away, run it back, clear its space, and roofed it right underneath the underside of the crossbar. The Dash with a 1-0 lead on a gorgeous night here in Houston. At halftime, here on Root Sports Southwest, it's the Dash 1, the Washington Spirit 0. We'll be back with some special guests, Brittany Griner and Jeff Plush, the NWSL commissioner, joining us right after this break.
As a BBVA Compass customer, you have the chance to show your true colors every time you open your wallet.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Visit us at HOUCP.com.
Presenting Dynamo Banking, featuring debit and credit card options that can help you reach your goals. Open your account today at any of our 80 locations in Houston or online at bbvacompass.com/dynamo. Team works in soccer and in banking.
Saturday night, a little messed up, but we're all right.
Heart attack. Developing a putty that will regrow shattered bones. Repairing tissue damaged by a heart attack. And using a patient's own tumor cells to create a personalized cancer vaccine. Helping the body heal itself. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
I don't think anybody is more conscious of the fact that he's still to score on the biggest stage and Wayne himself. He needs to make a difference. The question is, can Neymar live up to the number 10 legend?
E foi assim, ano passado, que Portugal venceu graças a Ronaldo. Ficou...
Back here at BBVA Compass Stadium, halftime to the NWSL opener, Dash 1 and Washington Spirit 0 at halftime. Carly Lloyd, the opening goal. With Jen Cooper, I'm Matt Peterson. Jen, a great start for the Dash after 45 minutes.
A very different first half for the Houston Dash in their first game. Again, kicking off at home. We see so much more talent, so much more maturity and experience on that field. The question was, when was it going to pay off? When were the players going to connect? I think we're still waiting for that, for the combination play to work out. But as we mentioned previously, Carly Lloyd, just a bit of individual excellence, finding that net in stoppage time, and it's a great way to take the team into the locker room with a 1-0 lead.
Well, let's jump right into those highlights of the first 45 minutes. And early on, Klingenberg from deep, no problem for Ashlyn Harris. And then Nairn with the set piece. And Klingenberg concedes the corner kick. Ojai, good hold-up play in the first half that time. Across a bit errant, but a nice first 45 for Ojai here in his sophomore campaign. There was the great ball from Ojai. Brian with the chance just before the half-hour mark. You see the left foot of Brian, no problem. And then Lloyd for Ojai, she came close. And Aaron, here's the goal. The difference in that first half. Lloyd almost falling down, falling to her right, but still enough power for the opening goal.
And nothing Ashlyn Harris could do about that. It really looked like it was going to hit the post and bounce out or go over, and nope, hit the post and bounced in.
Well, there's the stats from the first half. Shots about even, corners close, and fouls.
Pretty even match overall, especially when first game of the season. Both teams have just had their national teamers join the camp, and some very young defenders for the Spirit, and some new defenders. I'm not going to say young defenders for the Dash, but new defenders for the Dash.
Well, speaking of defenders, we'll take a break. When we come back, the WNBA Defender of the Year from 2014, Brittany Griner, joins us in the booth. She's back in Houston. She's here next.
As a BBVA Compass customer, you have the chance to show your true colors every time you open your wallet.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Presenting Dynamo Banking, featuring debit and credit card options that can help you reach your goals. Open your account today at any of our 80 locations in Houston or online at bbvacompass.com/dynamo.
Hey guys,
Team works in soccer and in banking.
Contest.
This summer, the best lacrosse players in the world will face off in a Lone Star State showdown. BBVA Compass Stadium will be the place to see the stars of Major League Lacrosse go head-to-head in the 2015 All-Star Game. Game time is 6 p.m. Central on June 13th. Tickets are on sale now. Go to MajorLeagueLacrosse.com for more information.
Jaden, are you guys ready? Alrighty. On your mark. Get set.
Who's done just about anything else? Give it away, Brad Davis, and we are level.
Come on, guys. Put on those jerseys. Alright. Jaden almost has it. Angel 2. Uh-oh. Angel is putting on his shorts
Uniquely
right now.
mapping a patient's brain to remove tumors without damaging healthy tissue. Navigating a patient's heart in real time with unprecedented accuracy.
Almost on.
And visualizing facial reconstruction before the first incision. Seeing better so we can heal you better. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Learn soccer the Dynamo way and start your path to the pros. The Houston Dynamo offer youth programs for every age and skill level, from a challenging introduction to soccer to intensive competition training and opportunities to play for the Dynamo Academy.
This is Ricardo Clark of the Houston Dynamo. The Dynamo youth programs offer the professional environment required to develop your game and prepare you for success.
To find out more or to register for Dynamo youth programs, visit HoustonDynamo.com.
If you wish to participate, please proceed to the front rows of the level 100 of BBVA Compass Stadium. Back in December, the Houston Dash asked local youth soccer clubs to send in videos of what the Dash means to them. Based on submissions, one club would be selected to be Dash for the day and receive a tour of BBVA Compass Stadium, full Dash uniforms, and play a game at the Houston Sports Center.
Back here at halftime, 1-0 Dash in the 2015 opener. We were expecting Brittany Griner, but she's a celebrity around here. Houston native, probably had a tough time getting up to the booth. So let's talk about this NWSL season, Jen. A lot of people talk about the World Cup. There is a great season. What are you looking forward to most?
Well, with the Women's World Cup, having it back in North America for the first time since 2003 is wonderful, not only so that fans can travel to it, but it also means those games are going to be on primetime TV. And there's going to be more of them on regular broadcast channels than ever before. So I think the exposure for the game is great. For the league, it means greater exposure, and then you have these players coming back from a World Cup who have become more household names. I mean, the only challenge for us as soccer fans is that we're not going to have those players for part of the NWSL season. But it's part of the growing pains of women's soccer as a true professional sport.
I've talked to many people in Houston, a lot of people making a trek up to Vancouver or Edmonton or other cities in Canada taking in the tournament. It's one big advantage of having it on this continent.
Well, in the Winnipeg games, the first 2 games for the U.S. are already sold out. I know as of last fall, they had already sold half of the tickets for the final. The Canadian organizer made a joke about how confident the Americans were because most of the ticket buying was coming from the U.S. But with such a great travel destination, and it's not that far, and of course there's no language barrier, it's such a natural vacation thing. And I think one of the challenges for fans is Canada's so large, bigger than the U.S., that it's going to be really difficult to follow the U.S. team game to game if that's really what you want to do.
You could take those trains. They're very expensive. You see the ads in the paper through the Rockies. It's like $6,000.
I don't think there's a train that goes all the way from Vancouver to Moncton.
That'd be a long way.
That itself is a 7-hour flight. So I think even if you could take a train, you would probably miss the game while you were taking a train. But it's great to see Canada get the opportunity to host. They hosted the Under-20 Women's World Cup last summer. They also hosted the inaugural Youth Women's World Cup in 2002 when it was under-19, featuring Ashlyn Harris and Lori Kalupny and Heather O'Reilly. So it's just great to see it back in North America, back in CONCACAF. And I just think it's such a great opportunity for both U.S. and Canada to shine. My fantasy is that we have a Canada-U.S. final.
What else in the NWSL this year, Jen? A lot of off-season moves. We saw it with these 2 teams, some big trades. What are you looking forward to this season in the league?
Well, the movements, for some soccer fans at first it's a little disconcerting because you want certain players to stay at certain teams. But once you accept that it's professional sports and that's how it works, it makes it so much more exciting that, okay, what is Western New York Flash going to do with Becky Edwards and Whitney Engen? And why did Washington Spirit trade Jodie Taylor to Portland, and how is that going to work out? And then you had the recent trade of Sydney Leroux and Abby Wambach. So it's fascinating.
Absolutely. And the Dash, part of that trade, Carly Lloyd coming last off season. She was the goal scorer in that first half. We'll take another break. We'll have more from halftime. Halftime at BBVA Compass Stadium. It's the Houston Dash 1, Washington Spirit next. More halftime after this.
As a BBVA Compass customer, you have the chance to show your true colors every time you open your wallet.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Presenting Dynamo Banking, featuring debit and credit card options that can help you reach your goals. Open your account today at any of our 80 locations in Houston or online at bbvacompass.com/dynamo. Team works in soccer and in banking.
This summer, the best lacrosse players in the world will face off in a Lone Star State showdown. BBVA Compass Stadium will be the place to see the stars of Major League Lacrosse go head-to-head in the 2015 All-Star Game. Game time is 6 p.m. Central on June 13th. Tickets are on sale now. Go to MajorLeagueLacrosse.com for more information.
Uniquely mapping a patient's brain to remove tumors without damaging healthy tissue. Navigating a patient's heart in real time with unprecedented accuracy. And visualizing facial reconstruction before the first incision. Seeing better so we can heal you better. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Learn soccer the Dynamo way and start your path to the pros. The Houston Dynamo offer youth programs for every age and skill level, from a challenging introduction to soccer to intensive competition training and opportunities to play for the Dynamo Academy.
This is Ricardo Clark of the Houston Dynamo. The Dynamo youth programs offer the professional environment required to develop your game and prepare you for success.
To find out more or to register for Dynamo youth programs, visit HoustonDynamo.com.
Welcome back to BBVA Compass Stadium here in Houston. End of halftime. Some good news coming from social media. Stephen Goff, outstanding reporter with the Washington Post. He just tweeted he spoke with Ali Krieger's dad. Ali was taken to a Houston hospital as a precaution. She is alert. Some amnesia, probable concussion. And then from the Washington Spirit team page, Ali Krieger taken to the hospital. Precautionary measure is being evaluated. Will provide further information when available. So from that standpoint, good news on Ali Krieger, the U.S. national team defender and Virginia native. Taken off in a stretcher inside the first 20 minutes, Jen, and good reports coming out of Washington.
As scary as that might have looked to see the stretcher and the backboard and the neck brace, it's good precaution. And definitely an injury that you can recover from in a relatively short period of time. The U.S. doesn't have another friendly until May 10th when they actually face Ireland, so they'll be facing Houston Dash's new international striker, Stephanie Roach. That game will be played in San Jose May 10th, so hopefully not a big effect on that game.
Stephanie Roach, of course, the Puskas runner-up to James Rodriguez. We might see her in the second half, Jen. We talked with Randy Waldron yesterday, and I think the experience of Jessica McDonald's maybe was the trump card over Roche, who's had a great preseason, but she might be nice coming on in a shorter spell than a start.
And he knew with her coming in from Europe that adjusting the physicality of the league would be the biggest challenge. You know, she's looked really good in preseason. He was surprised, much like we were, that she can deliver the ball as good as she can actually shoot the ball. So her through passes, the way she connects with the players around her is excellent. All right, so we're underway, second half at BBVA Compass Stadium.
That's Ashlyn Harris. More than likely part of the U.S. team in Vancouver this summer. Here they go again, playing out of the back as they like to do. Tori Huster, forward. Axon intervenes, but the Spirit gainer right back, and Bryan, in her pro debut, wins it for the Dash. Axon, here's Lloyd, the goal scorer. What a great goal at the end of the first half. Now onto her left, forward, here's Bryan. U.S. national team fans will get used to that sight. Those two in the midfields. Henderson. Lloyd looking for McDonald's. And now it cycles wide to Masser. Ojai again, comfortable with her back to goal. A great sight here in 2015. When she grew up in Utah, I'm sure she ran behind defenses. Known for her pace, so I think anytime we see her with the hold-up play that time, excellent job against Kat Reynolds. All but two forward for the Dash. Ojai with the delivery, and cleared. Ojai in the corner, settles. 1 versus 2 at the end line. Great job to win a corner kick for the Dash. Ojai on a conference call this week, speaking with reporters, said she wants to be a leader from day one, not mid-season. She said on Friday night, that's tonight. And here she wins a corner, taken by Oakes. Put over the end line, another corner kick for the Dash. McDonald came close, but it's out for a goal kick. Good size for McDonald, a different dimension for this Dash team here in 2015 after her trade from Portland.
Great picture of McDonald with Brittany Griner after the other day after practice. Kind of funny that she made Jessica McDonald look very short. And maybe we should say that we couldn't get Brittany Griner up in the booth because she's just too tall. There's really not room for her in here.
Elevators not built for 6'8". WNBA Defender of the Years. Estefania Bonini. Lohman. And Whitney Church pushing forward. First time service. Nairn pulls it over the crossbar. It fell to Christine Nair. Good take on the half volley, but could not keep it down.
Dangerous look from Nairn with her right foot just over the center post. Reminds you very much of her stoppage time game-winning goal against the Dash at Maryland last May.
Off the goal kick, Huster. Easy header, settled by Lloyd. Good skill in a tight crowd. Bit of a mix-up, and in the end, it was Axon taking charge. McDonald's on this near side. Nasser heads it out. Great story from Randy Waldrum yesterday, Jen. Randy was kind of going back and forth. Should Ella play right back? Should she stay up front? And what did Ella do to kind of keep the position? I like that, he told us, she texted and said, well, okay, you're the coach, so I'll accept whatever decision you make, but I was getting really excited playing this right back position. So he's like, well, that easy decision made right there. She wants it. We'll let her have it. Lloyd turning past Huster. Ojai tries to keep it alive, but too many white shirts. Now Ojai wins it. Ojai in on goal. Kaylee Ojai onto her right, and it's Ojai! 2-0 Dash! Great job to stay in the play. Won it at the back against Estelle Johnson. And then raced in on Harris, and a calm finish from the second year forward. She looks so composed on that ball, not thrown at all by the two defenders running on her. Slots it cleanly into goal, gets it past Ashlyn Harris. First goal of the 2015 season for Kaylee Ojai, and we knew that was coming. Yeah, at times in the first half, she's seen the most likely to score. It took her 5 minutes into the second half. She actually stole it from Megan Oyster. I beg your pardon. I thought it was Johnson. But Ojai, just a different confidence, different poise. First day of the press conference back in March, she had a different presence about her. And as I just said, she wanted to be a leader from day one. You lead with goals. Here's another service towards Henderson. Headed out by Kat Reynolds to throw into the Dash. And let's bring Brittany Griner onto the broadcast. Here's Klingenberg as the Dash get it forward. We'll welcome Brittany in a moment once the Dash end this sequence getting forward. And here comes Huster. Well, Brittany Griner, Houston native, back in town. Thanks for joining us here in the booth.
Oh, no, thank you for having me here. I'm honored to be here.
Enjoying the game so far?
Definitely enjoying the game. I am really excited to be here.
Because I was wondering if you would consider switching from basketball to soccer so that you could come and play for your hometown team. Since we don't have a WNBA team here right now, you could play pro soccer.
I think I might do a little bit too much damage, actually, out there on the field. I don't think I would be too much help.
You didn't look too bad in goal the other day at Dash practice.
I like to think that I still have it, but I got scored on twice, and my confidence went down.
Because I don't know if you know the story, Hakeem Olajuwon, they discovered him playing goalkeeper in Nigeria, and then they converted him to a basketball player.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I definitely heard the story many a times. And I played 7th and 8th grade, but nothing on this level, that's for sure.
Brittany Griner joining us here in the booth. Kaylee Ojai.
Now, I know you guys have a busy WNBA season, but, will you have any opportunity to maybe catch some Women's World Cup games up in Canada?
Oh, I definitely will be catching. Hopefully I could try to attend maybe a game, but definitely will be keeping up with it, that's for sure.
And I'm sure it was great to be back in Houston this week, catch up with a lot of old friends.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Spent the day with my mom and my fiance today, so it was always good coming back home.
And, of course, the members of the Dash organization who came from
Yes.
the Phoenix Mercury.
Yes, definitely. Being able to see Amber today was big for me.
Ella Masser trying to put in Henderson. That's Amber Cox. She's been with the Dash just a few months, and I'm sure quickly put out the invite and bring you back to your hometown. So what's it like to be on the field for the opening night doing the coin toss?
It was, like I said, it was definitely an honor being able to do the coin toss tonight. Definitely would love to put on some gloves and get in the goal, but like I said, I don't think I would be too much help.
Now, of course, Brittany, a dominant player in your own sport, the 2014 WNBA Defender of the Year as the Spirit gain a free kick. But quickly, Brittany, is it a little intimidating going out on the practice ground of another sport? You're always sort of in control in your own sport, but going to play with the Dash a few days ago, how was that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I didn't feel at home. When I'm on the hardwood and, out there with the two rims, that's my home. But out there on the field with those two goals, that's not really me anymore. So I felt a little out of control.
Here's some footage of Brittany out at practice a few days ago, down at Houston Sports Park.
The win was on my favor on that one.
No, you intimidated Ella Masser, clearly.
Now Klingenberg.
Nice finish from the Kling.
All right, let's see it.
Size 17 foot, it didn't help me. It didn't help me at all.
Yeah, that would be hard to find cleats for size 17.
It would definitely have to probably glue some on the bottom of my chucks.
Christine Nair, meanwhile, down on the field, receiving some treatment from the Spirit medical staff, and Carly Lloyd comes over to talk with her opponents. Let's take one more look at the injury to Christine Nair as she is now back on her feet. Yeah, Lloyd came in, and maybe the right wrist of Christine Nair.
Now, when you were growing up in Houston, and I'm a native Houstonian too, how much did you follow the Comets, and did you have some of those jerseys?
Oh, I definitely went out. You would definitely see me at the games. I remember going out. My dad took me out to the Reliant to catch some games, and it was hard when they left. They won 4 straight in a row.
Right.
But when they were here, we definitely loved them.
Yeah, I still have a Cynthia Cooper jersey because we share a last name, so I had to buy that one.
Have to.
Free kick from Laura Del Rio, not the best, cleared by the Dash as they try to get forward. Brian back to Ella Masser. Your season a few months away. Brittany, what are you looking forward to as the Mercury try to defend their title?
Just getting back in the gym, actually, coming off a championship last season. Looking forward to trying to repeat that again. And, just getting back in the groove of everything. I went back to the gym the other day to go to the locker room, and just the smell got me excited for the season.
Defender of the Year, obviously you could score, but how big of your game is that? Is that something you take pride in, winning the Defender of the Year? Is that something you maybe prioritize more than the offensive side?
Oh, definitely. Defense is my favorite part of the game. So when I got Defensive Player of the Year, I definitely was happy, and I want to defend that and get it again this year.
Ojai here on this near side as the crowd comes to life. A 2-0 lead for the Dash. It took 4 games to have a home goal for Houston last year, and first minute stoppage time in the home opener this year.
And I'm pretty sure there's only one goal where Houston had a 2-0 lead, and it was their 3-0 win over Sky Blue.
Lloyd forward looking for McDonald, just a bit heavy. A goal kick to the Spirits. No women's professional soccer team in Phoenix. Is it fun coming out to watch NWSL soccer here in your hometown?
Oh, it's definitely fun being able to come out in my hometown here in Houston and just see our Houston Dash out here playing in the field.
Brittany Griner, our guest, here in the booth. Second half, dash and spirit. Morgan Bryan cutting back to her right. What a ball! Oh, high, but the flag is up. And offside, but excellent skill. Brittany, you've seen teams inside the post sharing the ball, teams like the Spurs on the men's side. How about that passing from Ohai and Bryan?
Oh, that was great. That was a great assist. Can I say that?
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been. That's the thing about basketball. No offside to worry about.
No offside.
See,
Defensive 3 seconds, though.
Look at the soccer field. Compress it and change the grass to a floor. It's really a basketball court.
It is. This is a pretty big basketball court. Yeah. I don't think I could run up and down this one as much as I can on the basketball court.
59th minute. Brittany Griner joining us here in the booth. It's the Dash home opener. Washington Spirit, a playoff team a year ago, trying to get back to the playoffs here in 2015. Here's the Dash backing off a bit, conceding possession to the Spirit in their own half. As Oakes goes back to Henninger.
As always, good with her feet. She knows when to come out.
All right, last one for you, Brittany. The women's NCAA tournament just ended. Another championship for UConn. Do you have a chance to watch much of that? Any observations on the women's NCAA tournament?
Oh, definitely. I tuned in for most of the games, and I definitely saw the championship game go.
Christine Nairn back on the field. Spirit playing for a few minutes with 10 players. Ohai latches onto it. A goal already this half, looking for number 2, 1 against 4, late arriving Henderson. Here's Henderson, onto her left, head up, and a save there, Ashlyn Harris. Well, Brittany, thanks again for the coin toss, joining us up in the booth, and enjoy the rest of your weekend here in your hometown.
Oh, thank you so much. It's definitely been an honor being able to come out, do the coin toss, and experience the home opener.
That's Houston's own Brittany Griner, the WNBA Defender of the Year, won a title last year with the Phoenix Mercury. On the hour mark, Dash with a 2-0 lead as Henger gets it forward. Picked off by Joanna Lohman of the Spirits. And McDonald once again. Now Lloyd. Excellent ball, well weighted. Can Henderson get there? Service towards the near post, no problem for Harris. Henderson beat Reynolds to the ball, but Reynolds made the cross a bit difficult. I think all in all, a great performance so far for Houston, Jen. It hasn't been relentless pressure or chance after chance, but when they've broken well, and they've had some good numerical situations.
Well, especially when you consider that 4 of the players on the field just joined the team in the last week. It speaks volumes about how Randy Waldrum coaches and how he's so clear about his vision and what he's trying to integrate here. And we haven't had a chance much to talk about Melissa Henderson, late season acquisition last year from Kansas City.
Ohai, here's Lloyd. Lloyd in the box. And good play, intervention. Tori Huster dropping back from the midfield. Now it's Masser, former forward, getting forward, and her cross is a bit heavy, maybe a bit excited here on opening nights. Overhit Bryan and McDonald at the back post.
She's wondering where her support was on that. She's like, guys, I want to score or assist or something.
Of course, a memorable goal, the 4th home game. Masser, the first home game for the Dash, first home goal for the Dash, I should say.
And the first ever goal for the Dash in their win at Boston in their second game last year.
Laura Del Rio, signed in March. Now in her 4th American team, previously with Philadelphia, Boston, and FC Indiana. Cross, clearing it here. It's a throw into Washington. We see Mark Parsons off the bench. A tough assignment for him on the road. Of course, can't use his Canadians. Nigerian forward signed in the offseason, played a game today. And Ara Romero, of course, with Mexico. So certainly shorthanded Mark Parsons in the Spirits.
And also Veronica Perez from Mexico. He doesn't have as many Canadians as had last year. You just have Diana Matheson, who, even if she weren't with Canada, she did tear her ACL last fall, though she's supposed to be on the road to recovery for the Women's World Cup. But I think that's why, like a lot of coaches are looking at what are the internationals that we can pull in who aren't with Women's World Cup countries, much like Randy Waldrum brought in Stephanie Roach from Ireland. You have Mark Parsons bringing in Benini and Del Rio.
Jen, looks like the first sub is coming for the Spirit in the second half. Second sub overall. Angela Salem, 26-year-old from Ohio, about to come on. And Crystal Dunn as well into the fray. I think we missed that one when
we missed
on.
We missed that sub with
but
the,
it's certainly
the basketball talk.
A flash of pace. Crystal Dunn, who went one pick ahead of Kaylia Ojai last year in the 2014 drafts, part of that great North Carolina team. So Dunn came on. We were too busy greeting Brittany Griner here in the booth.
So that means this is Spirit's third and final sub for the night.
A presence from Griner. It's hard to keep your eyes on the field standing next to the reigning WNBA Defender of the Year.
And we're proud to say she did fit in the booth.
She fit. High ceilings here. Well designed. This stadium that opened in 2012. So now Parsons out of substitutes as he's brought on Estelle Johnson for Ali Krieger. Dunn came on a moment ago, and now Laura Del Rio departs, and it's Salem on.
Salem acquired in an off-season trade. She's been a solid fixture in NWSL play for the last 2 seasons.
Ojai at the end line, kept it in, crossed, in the area. McDonald just wide. It stayed alive. McDonald just kept pushing towards goal. In the end, an outstretched foot, and it's out for a throw into Washington. Just checking social media, Jen. Another report from Stephen Goff. Ali Krieger tells her parents from the hospital she'll be okay. Awaiting tests. Can't remember the collision. 1 prior concussion in her career. Thanks again to Stephen Goff for the reporting, and great news for all fans. That's Ali Krieger telling her parents she's going to be okay, awaiting a test at a Houston hospital.
Great to hear. And you can see why it's so important to take those precautions. No reason to risk further injury or something more serious.
The Spirit need 2 goals. They've brought on some pace as Nairn goes back towards her goalkeeper Harris, pressured by McDonald. Salem on, replacing Del Rio, and then of course Crystal Dunn been used in the back. She's playing forward here tonight, Jen, and certainly pace, one of her many skills on the field.
Well, Randy Waldrum even mentioned that to us yesterday, that he said he would hope that Mark Parsons would play Crystal Dunn the way Gillis Ellis had, in the back instead of up front, because he remembers when she was at North Carolina the way that she would tear up his Notre Dame defense.
A clearance from Oaks. It goes off the forehead of Dunn and out for a dash goal kick. Dunn and Ojai teammates in North Carolina. Dunn number 1, Ojai number 2.
And you also have a pair of teammates in Morgan Bryan and Kaylia Ojai, both members of the under-20 U.S. Women's National Team that won the under-20 Women's World Cup in 2012. Ojai getting the game-winning goal against Germany in the final.
Here's Lloyd. Scored the opening goal in the first half to Ojai. Clean contacts. McDonald, great work rate. She does not look tired here in the 67th minute of the opener. Settled by Melissa Henderson. The Texas native into the box. Poor clearance. Still alive for Ojai, but Harris anticipates it well and falls on top just inside the edge of the 6.
So, Matt, we've seen 3 subs from the Spirit. Of course, one of them was injury related. No subs yet from the Dash.
Now, Waldrum likes what he sees from this group, given away that time by Lohman. Morgan Bryan, good composure to slow it down with the 2-0 lead. Lloyd over the top, looking for Bryan. And it's ushered out at the back by Whitney Church. A goal kick to the Washington Spirit.
Got 3 Dash players in the warm-up area, and it looks like Tiffany McCarty is taking off her jacket and coming over to the center. So she may be the first sub. You also have Stephanie Roach and Ashley Nick over there, who would have been considered starters for today. Ashley Nick, they took a while to get her ITC, so they were just being cautious and having somebody else play, in that center back position today defensively. And Stephanie Roach, as we've talked about, Waldron wanted to just give her a little bit more time to adjust. But I bet we're going to see some great things from her.
Washington perhaps showing some fatigue. A lot of turnovers from them this half in their own end. And the Dash trying to exploit it. Here's Lloyd. Calm ball to Henderson. 25 from goal. Good challenge. Joanna Lohman. And she won it from Henderson. And a throw into Houston on this near side. Dash on over to HowlerMagazine.com every Tuesday to check out the latest episode of The Mix Zone, the weekly women's soccer podcast hosted by Jen Cooper. As Ojai turns at the end line, good clearing header, and the ball had rolled over the end line, so a goal kick to the Dash. We'll just complete that thought. The Mix Zone covers the U.S. women's national team and WSL in the Women's World Cup. Subscribe via iTunes by searching for Howler. How's that been so far, Jen? I'm sure a lot of fun.
A lot of fun getting to talk to people like Tom Sermani, Amanda Cromwell, Christine Lilly, even Alexi Lawless, who is going to get his feet wet with women's soccer this summer. He said his daughter's been quizzing him about all kinds of, women's soccer history and the names of all the coaches. And he even knew the name of the Thai women's national team coach, and I will admit that I don't. It's been great, and there's definitely a following building from people who hadn't followed women's soccer before.
Spirit comfortably building out of the back. But they need 2 goals. 20 minutes to go here in Houston. The Dash with goals from Carly Lloyd and Kaylee Ojai. Crystal Dunn will force Ella Masser into a challenge. And she'll be shown a yellow card by a referee tonight, Katia Koroleva.
And Ella had 4 yellow cards last season. She and Osanachi Ohale were the leading yellow card winners on the team, shall we say. Got to be cautious about that because there is yellow card accumulation in the league. But unlike MLS, you don't get credit for going a certain number of games without getting one.
Good behavior bonus.
There
3
is
games without a yellow.
Yeah, there is no good behavior bonus in NWSL.
All right, Christine Nairn, set piece for Washington, down 2 goals. Good ball, dangerous area, and it comes out towards the corner. Masser will run it down, and she wins a goal kick. It will look like it went off Dunn, but maybe glanced off Masser, and now another corner kick for the Spirit. We'll see if the Dash elect to bring on McCarty. Typically not really on a defensive corner kick do you see the sub, but maybe Waldron will let it happen because he likes McCarty's size. McDonald comes off. She looked fresh, Jen, even in the 70th minute. Great work rate, and I think she brings a lot to the table, not just going forward, but on the defensive side as well.
And maybe this is just a way to mix it up a little bit and also give someone who's worked really hard and has a good preseason, get them some key minutes.
Here comes Nairn with the corner kick. Henninger punches it away, but not out. Headed back across. Bryan heads it top of the box. Ojai will take no chances. It's a Spirits throw-in. McCarty, a regular last year, 20 appearances, 11 starts, 4 goals and an assist for the Dash in their inaugural season. Dash will back off and absorb some pressure. Ojai pushes further forward. Dunn in the box against Cross, and Henninger no problem.
Henninger hasn't been tested too much this game. She's had much tougher games for the dash, but of course, as we've said several times, is a much different team than 2014.
McCarty, good settle and turn, but the Spirit win a throw-in. Mark Parson has used all 3 of his changes. Estelle Johnson in the first half, and then Salem and Crystal Dunn here in the second half. Good ball wide from Huster. Nairn with the head up. Good ball right to the middle. Lohman, a bit heavy, recovers. Klingenberg, a sloppy clearance. And Henninger there to pick it up. You saw Klingenberg kind of put her hand up and say, my mistake.
Bad.
Yeah. But that's been the story of the night. When the dash have been a bit off at the back, they've had enough numbers, and the Spirit have not taken advantage.
And I think that's where the experience really shows through. Kling over the last year has just come so far. You can see her confidence building now that she's a regular starter on the U.S. national team. Stephanie Oakes, after having played defense for a year. Nikki Cross bringing 2+ years experience from Bayern Munich.
Ojai settling. Back Carly Lloyd. A goal in the first half. And a great moment into the upper corner. Individual skill. And really gave some momentum to this dash team heading into the locker room. Klingenberg, Jen, I think we talked about in the first half, worth repeating. Wow, what a turn from McCarty. She is in. Touch got away from her as Oyster clears. And now Dunn will turn. Great change of pace and direction from the second-year forward out of North Carolina, Crystal Dunn. But going back to Klingenberg, just a different persona from her and kind of charisma and confidence after gaining some regular starts with the national team after her first year with the dash a year ago.
Last season was really tough for Megan Klingenberg. Her Swedish club made it all the way to the UEFA Champions League final. So she and Whitney Engen didn't even arrive till early June, and then their paperwork hadn't come through. So she didn't get an opportunity to play when she was here. They get called up by the U.S. national team. They come back. They have a 5-hour weather delay at their game at Sky Blue, so that game doesn't get played. So I think a really long season in Sweden followed by this extended when do I get to play is really tough first season for Megan, but she had an excellent offseason with the U.S. national team. And like you mentioned, that confidence from the U.S., being a starter now for the U.S., she's bringing it to this team, and she's so comfortable, and it's a whole different Klingenberg out there.
Now Jen, a substitute for the dash. Second change for Randy Waldrum. Melissa Henderson comes off. And the most popular Irish native in Texas these last few weeks, it's Stephanie Roche into the game.
I'd probably say the most popular Irish native in the States, considering she got invited to the White House for St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, the beauty of social media and a YouTube video going viral. Thank God her coach taped that game that day. There were 100 people in attendance. Filmed that golazo, put it up. It went viral. Was under consideration for the Puskás Award. First ever woman to make the final 3. We've seen women's goals in the Puskás nominee before, including from NWSL. Lisa Devana from 2013 had one, but Stephanie's was the first to make the final 3. She lost only to James Rodriguez. She got more votes than Van Persie.
Great take that time. Christine Nairn from about 30 yards out, struck it well and low. Back on the field with a bandage on her right wrist after a injury kept her out for about 5 minutes, but not a bad effort from Christine Nairn. As the dash will take a professional approach these final 15 minutes, but sort of a happy-go-lucky attitude from Stephanie Roche. I met her this week, and I asked her if she has been surprised by all the attention she's gotten. She said yes, but she's enjoyed it. Trips to Austin and Washington, as you said, and I asked her if she has always been audacious with these takes, the kind of goal she scored for the Puskás and some of the goals she's known to have scored. She said she can strike a good ball.
It's just what she does.
Just what she does.
Yeah, she had a very similar golazo versus Costa Rica in March.
Nairn with the service, headed back across by Salem and cleared by McCarty. Lloyd will settle. Great composure in her defensive third from Carly Lloyd. McCarty a good turn. She gets to the circle. Lohman giving chase. Roche to her right. As the Spirit get back, here's Ojai. A goal in the second half. There's a good first touch to the end line. Ojai through the middle. And Lohman clears for Washington. But Ojai, so many positive movements tonight. No hesitation from the second-year player. As soon as she got that pass, Jen, she wanted to get to that corner at the end line.
And the way all the players are working together, they're all on the same page. It was great to see in preseason the way that Roach and Ojai and Henderson would just overlap.
Ball clipped in by Huster.
And even though you might refer to Henninger as McLeod's backup, she's been the starting keeper all preseason. Erin hasn't been here. She was at the Cypress Cup and still with Canada in camp. So they're used to Bianca being in the back, calling the shots, running the show.
Huster, wide right. Lohman, good skill on the ball. Savvy veteran, 32-year-old, another Maryland native. This team, the Spirit, so many Washington, D.C. area players. As Lohman gets forward here, settled by Oakes. Calm defending, and it comes off the face of Elamasser and out for a Spirit throw-in as the medical staff will be asked to come on.
That looked like just a hard hit to the nose, and not to discount anything, but keep in mind Elamasser has had 4 nose jobs.
4?
Yeah. And the last one, they took cartilage from behind her ear to strengthen it. So she said this one's not going anywhere. So I don't read what happened that as a possible concussion so much as probably a hard knock on the nose, and she's taken those a lot before.
Now you see her spitting there. Ow, it was a good clearance by Oakes and blindsided Elamasser.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the trainer's looking at her nose.
Christy Chavez assessing. The dash will be down a man for a moment. As Oakes, the next clearance goes by Masser once again. And now Masser says, let me take the throw in. She doesn't trust Oakes with it anymore, so she'll take the ball in her own hands. But one of those things, Jen, I think with all the offseason moves, one thing not many expected, even with all the moves, was Elamasser starting her right back on opening day. It was sort of a late move in the preseason.
This is something that Randy Waldrum did, I think, less than 3 weeks ago, and it was just, when he was considering his options based on trial lists and the other signings, and of course, originally he had signed 2 Brazilians, one of them Pollyanna, who we thought would feature defensively, and then Brazil decided to have a residency camp, and he didn't even warn her. He just said, hey, in this scrimmage, I'm going to put you in it right back, and it seemed very natural.
You don't have to think about it, just go out and play, and that's what she did the first night. Tiffany McCarty, the substitutes. And it'll be a dash corner kick. Comes off Whitney Church, the rookie out of Penn State. And Stephanie Oakes will venture forward. But Waldrum talked about Masser training with Erin McLeod in Canada this summer, said she's very fit. She was even keeping up with Kaylee Ojai in some of the sprinting exercises, maybe not as fast, but in the vicinity of Ojai, one of the fastest on the team. Here's Oakes with the corner kick for the dash. Towards the back post, and Ashlyn Harris, no problem.
And with the fitness work that Elamasser has done and the conversion to right back, she has legitimately extended her career.
Roche. Lloyd. Bryan, unable to settle. Here's Crystal Dunn. Loves that change of direction. She gets it forward for Washington. She's been a handful since coming on, Crystal Dunn, in the second half. Now it's Christine Nairn. Nikki Cross wide for a throw-in.
And Crystal Dunn is one of the 25 who's, been in the camp for the U.S. most of this year. But she is considered one of the bubble players. We should know in a week or so who the final 23 are for Canada.
22-year-old from Rockville Center, New York. 4-year teammates with Kaylee Ohai. 1 appearance with the senior national team this year, 4 last year, and 8 with the senior national team as a senior in 2013. Dunn. Salem. Tries to spray it wide right, run down by Whitney Church. McCarty good to defend all the way back near her own penalty area. Salem turns it over. Here comes Lloyd, wide right. Kaylee Ohai, she's been going right to goal. Top of the box, Lloyd tried to clip it for Bryan. Maintains possession. And now it comes wide. Ohai, the flag stays down. Bryan a good run with her head up. Morgan Bryan towards the back post looking for Roach. And cleared by Washington. Bryan will not be stopped, away from Nairn. And cleared by the Spirits. It's a shame in some ways, Jen, that this group will only get to play together for 3 games and then the World Cup, because it's been a lot of good skill and fun combination play between Bryan, Lloyd, Ohai, and others, including McDonald when she was on. Here come the Spirit. Dunn, outstretched leg, Cross took the brunt of it. And Masser was in the mix, Axon nearby as well. But Dunn really wants a goal in this game and left the foot in there against Nikki Cross.
Well, the good news about these players leaving is they are coming back. And the NWSL spread out the schedule this season. It's a longer season with fewer games played. So when they come back after the World Cup, even if they make it all the way to the final, there's still several home games.
The Spirits, they'll come home next Saturday, hosting FC Kansas City.
Last year's champions.
At Marine Hendricks Field. And Ashley Nick preparing to come on for the dash. Wearing a big protective glove on her left hand. Here's the service from the corner from Nairn, and a good clearing header. That was Carly Lloyd rising amongst some taller players to head it away. Nairn back on the ball. Here comes Bonini. Salem wide right. Crystal Dunn bending it towards the back post. Beyond Lohman, who runs it down ahead of McCarty. Now Bonini. Estefania Bonini. Ushered backward by Bryan. Goes down. The dash will push forward. Klingenberg with Roach. Now Morgan Bryan. Klingenberg on this right side forward. Wanted a run from Ohai. It came a little bit late. And now cleared out by Megan Oyster. Now in the 87th minute, the Dash a comfortable 2-0 lead after so many tough games last year. Tight defeats. A 2-0 lead for the final 40 minutes or so of this game. Roach towards Bryan. Now it's Morgan Bryan, has McCarty in front. Good ball from Bryan. McCarty's in against Harris. And claimed by Harris. But again, Jen, you see the skill. Calm, well-weighted pass by Morgan Bryan right in front of McCarty.
And you know Tiffany McCarty wants that back to just get that a little wide of Ashlyn Harris. McCarty, one of our top scorers for the Dash last season. You had 3 players with 4 goals. Nina Berger, Tiffany McCarty, and Kaylee Ohai.
Kat Reynolds out of the back. Dunn. Some thought she might be a right back. Comes on in the second half as a forward. She's been very tough on the Dash, but hasn't really threatened Henninger just yet. Reynolds, another trade acquisition for Mark Parsons. San Clemente native, traded to Washington in October.
Bianca Henninger communicating really well with her defense, saying, stay off, I'll take that. She takes her time before she picks it up, so she's got extra time to push forward.
Good punt. Reynolds, free header. Lohman towards Nairn, but won by Masser. Bryan. Settled by McCarty, just a bit in front of Ojai, but good, calm passing on this near side by the Houston Dash. And now we'll see another change made by Randy Waldrum. Rachel Axon comes off, and entering the fray is Ashley Nick.
As we mentioned before, Ashley probably would have been a starter if they had secured her ITC earlier.
And the referee gives a free kick to Washington. I think a good call. Nikki Cross, too much contact on the near side against Kristen Dunn. Nick acquired in a trade with Sky Blue last December. Now makes her Dash debut. Nairn has taken most of the set pieces tonight for Washington, right in front of her head coach Mark Parsons. Here's the service. A few players whiffed on it. And now Bonini. Good recovery, Klingenberg, and Roche gives it to Bonini. Chance here, Salem in the box. Contact from Lloyd, and the referee waves it off. Crystal Dunn is kept out by Bianca Henninger. Many people were appealing for a penalty. Kristen Dunn didn't worry about it. She went towards goal, and I think a big save from Henninger. Hasn't had to do a lot tonight. She was ready there.
You can see the difference that Crystal Dunn makes in the lineup, causing trouble. And the ref just said, play on.
Salem did not like the call clearly, but
right.
Credit to Dunn to staying with the play, and of course Henninger just parrying it wide. Now a shaky back pass, but it makes it all the way there. Shakier, or less shaky than I thought. Good play from Oyster. She nods it back to Harris, and as we approach second half stoppage time, a comfortable 2-0 lead for the Houston Dash. Goals from Carly Lloyd, a great goal off the underside of the crossbar, or just behind it into the upper portion of the net. First half stoppage time, and then Kalia Ojai just stealing the ball from Megan Oyster, 35 yards from goal, racing in alone, and a cool finish against Harris. So it's Lloyd and Ojai, the goal scorers. 3 minutes of time will be added on here at the end of the second half in Houston. The Dash on the verge of an opening win here in 2015 after a 1-0 defeat in their inaugural game last season.
And last season, it took the Dash a couple of months to earn a shutout. This could be first shutout in the first game.
The Dash go on the road, Sky Blue FC in New Jersey next weekend, then to Boston. As we said, the Spirit come home to host Kansas City next Saturday. Tiffany McCarty. Still McCarty. Roach tried her left, couldn't connect. And the Spirit try to break the other way. Here's Dunn, 1 against 3. Dunn pulls out Oakes. Masser trying to size her up. Dunn has some support from Christine Nairn. Dash, good organization, 7 behind the ball. Bonini, Salem. Angela Salem from Akron, Ohio. Now it's Dunn trying to turn. Good defending Stephanie Oakes right behind her to win it. Roach. Inside Bryant. Now Kat Reynolds. Nairn. So good from Lloyd there to win it. And just push it wide to Ella Masser.
Ashlyn Harris telling everybody, push up. She's already outside of her box. And come on. Not much time left.
These teams meet 2 more times this season, both at the Maryland Soccer Complex, first June 27th, and then again August 1st. Oyster does enough. Closing seconds now from Houston. Estefania Benini. Away from Klingenberg. Good work, Klingenberg. Here's Ojai. To the dash, have one more for the home fans. Ojai for Klingenberg. Roach, the furthest forward. McCarty arriving late, as is Lloyd. Klingenberg, it's Roach! And just past the far post, a corner kick to the dash. It came off the forehead of Roach and then off Reynolds, or perhaps Estelle Johnson.
One thing that Randy said yesterday about Stephanie Roach is that she's the best pure finisher he's ever seen. He goes, as long as someone gets her the ball in front of goal, she's going to finish.
Yeah, he said the best pure finisher on the team. I almost asked about some others on the team and said, better than them, but I left it at that. Didn't want to take anything away from her or them.
Yeah.
Service from Oaks. Chance. And a clearing header as we have the final whistle from Katia Koroleva. It's a bright start for the Dash in 2015. 2 goals, one from Carly Lloyd, the other Kaylee Ojai, and a clean sheet to boot. 3 points, Jen Cooper.
Great way to start the season. First shutout in the first game. Goal from your big star, goal from your up-and-coming star. Can't ask for much more.
There was so much that went into this offseason. You don't know how it's going to work out on the field. You assume the stars will rise to the occasion, but it could have taken a few games for the Dash to really figure it out. No problem tonight.
Especially when the U.S. national teamers did not arrive until Tuesday, Wednesday. Jessica McDonald not arriving from Germany until this week. It just speaks to Waldrom's coaching.
A tough assignment for the Spirit. They came in with some injury concerns, some international concerns, had to travel here as they got their national teamers in it. A good effort from Washington as they try to mold this team in 2015.
And if you didn't hear us mention it before, good news from Allie Krieger. She herself is tweeting from the hospital where they just took her to be safe, but it looks like probable concussion.
So we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have some highlights from this game, more thoughts. The Dash opened the 2015 season. A bright start here in year 2. Carly Lloyd and Kaylee Ojai, the goal scorers. And the Dash with a 2-0 win to open the 2015 season. Stay with us. Post-game highlights coming up.
As a BBVA Compass customer, you have the chance to show your true colors every time you open your wallet.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Presenting Dynamo Banking, featuring debit and credit card options that can help you reach your goals. Open your account today at any of our 80 locations in Houston or online at bbvacompass.com/dynamo. Team works in soccer and in banking.
Developing a putty that will regrow shattered bones. Repairing tissue damaged by a heart attack. And using a patient's own tumor cells to create a personalized cancer vaccine. Helping the body heal itself. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Deep in midfield, it slipped into Clark, trying to line up his foot. There it is from Will. Who's done just about anything else. Give it away, Brad Davis, and we are level.
Yes, sometimes life ain't
Learn soccer the Dynamo way and start your path to the pros. The Houston Dynamo offer youth programs for every age and skill level, from a challenging introduction to soccer to intensive competition training and opportunities to play for the Dynamo Academy.
This is Ricardo Clark of the Houston Dynamo. The Dynamo youth programs offer the professional environment required to develop your game and prepare you for success.
To find out more or to register for Dynamo youth programs, visit HoustonDynamo.com.
Do you want to start it, Jen? First question? Okay.
Can we see her there?
Welcome back to BBVA Compass Stadium, a 2-0 win for the Houston Dash. And let's talk to the first goal scorer, Carly Lloyd, joining us from field side. Carly, first impression for these Dash fans, a great goal from you at the first half. Take us through that play. A lot of numbers behind the ball. You can take it from there.
Yeah, a lot of numbers behind the ball. You know, it's kind of a blur right now, but I know Morgan Bryan passed me the ball out. I recreated my run, got wide, and just dribbled kind of across the field and let loose. You know, wasn't sure about it for the first few minutes. It hit that crossbar, but overall had a lot of fun tonight. It was a great team performance. I thought we did really well and gelled really well.
Speaking of Morgan Bryan, Carly, how would you judge her first performance as a professional soccer player?
You know, great. She's a fantastic player. You know, she's comfortable, confident out there, good with her feet. You know, we have a good connection, and overall, you know, jumping out in there, just having been here for a few days, we gelled really well together. I think there's a lot of soccer brains out on the field, and Randy had a good game plan. So overall, it was a great start.
Allie, for a moment, Carly, good news from Allie Krieger from the hospitals here in Houston. She's tweeting she's okay. I'm sure a scary moment. You've been in camp with Allie Krieger and stretched her off. How scary was that, and how happy are you to hear the good news?
Yeah, that's fantastic. You never want to see a player go down like that, and you know, wish her all the best, and I'll check up on her later.
Finally, what about the rest of the performance from the team? Bianca, not too tested in the back. The back line looks solid. What about the rest of the team behind you?
Yeah, everybody did really well. The subs coming in, Bianca had a great game. The back line had a great game. Very comfortable on the ball. Played out of the back comfortably. Overall, you know, really good. Rachel sitting in that hole and Ashley coming on. Tiff coming in. Overall, everybody did really, really good. So I'm happy. Glad to be part of the Dash.
Thanks, Carly. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
That's Carly Lloyd, scored a great goal at the end of that first half. And as she said, you can tell by her excitement there. She's excited to be here in Houston, and 3 points and a 2-goal win to take on the road.
Well, I think this is exactly what Brian Ching and Chris Canetti were envisioning when they engineered that big trade last fall. You know, this is why we got Carly Lloyd. Great to see her deliver the first game, and also for Kileo High to get the reward for all of her hard work in the offseason and tonight.
Well, let's jump right into the highlights from the second half. A 1-0 lead after that first half from Lloyd's goal, and shot over the top from Christine Nairn. And there's the play. Kaylee Ojai winning the ball, took a few extra touches, and then a calm finish.
Two through defenders and past the arms of Ashland Spirit. Nice right foot touch.
Great goal from Ojai, 4 goals last season, wanted to be a leader here tonight. Morgan Bryan, well-weighted ball. Ojai a second chance, and Harris kept it out. Alyssa Henderson using her left foot. Henninger clearing. And then Crystal Dunn, many players stopped. She stayed right with it, and a good save from Henninger.
Henninger just able to keep it just wide, preserve that shutout. You know that's important to her.
Well, there you see the stats, Jen. 13 shots for the Dash, very positive, 7 corner kicks, and a good effort from the Spirit as well.
And stats not on there, but 1 yellow card for Ella Masser. We'll have to keep a close eye on that for the season.
All right, well, we'll sign things off from BBVA Compass Stadium. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. The Dash, a 2-0 win. The Stars came to play tonight, Jen. 2-0 the Dash. Kaylee Ojai and Carly Lloyd joining us again in a few weeks. It's the Dash winning the opener here in 2015. For Jen Cooper, I'm Matt Peterson. Good night from BBVA Compass Stadium, where the Dash start the season 1-0.